Hey guys, it's Turnick here. I'm trying a little something different. Instead of perhaps talking through video chat or talking, well, through just Discord chat, I thought I would record a video of me going over a replay, what I look at, and just doing something in more real time so that not only do the little mentees get more personalized, humanized feedback, everyone else can see kind of what things I'm looking for and what things that they can improve in their own games. Because not everyone has time to go through the whole replay thing. So, without further ado, first game is Goldsy versus someone else. I don't remember if he played it versus someone on the Bootcamp or if it was just another guy. Regardless, we have a 1v1 on Mudfight. So let's speed this up. 42-minute game, so it seems like gonna have plenty of action. Okay, so immediately I see something strange. He has chosen this start road, which makes, quite frankly, no sense whatsoever. There is no reason to ever start anything over there unless you want to send something like around the map, but these are the wrong units to go around the map, or if you just want to send things over here, but this place rarely matters at all. So the detail in this game is sometimes surprising. But anyway, yeah, this doesn't really matter too much. All you really need out here is like an OH6D or a ninja or something. So if these are intended to go into this town, you really, really, really want to fucking start them here. And in general, you always want to start units on the road, just so that they can start fast moving a lot sooner. But yeah, that was problematic. And on this side, holy shit. Oh, okay. On this side, we basically have a incompetently done healer rush with a smirch. Ladies and gentlemen, and also, are these more Sky Pechota and BTR 90s? Jesus Christ, what fucking cancer? Why do people do this? Oh my god. Oh, and another just minor thing, the fob is slightly on the road. If fobs are on the road, they actually block units. You usually don't have units going this way, but it's just like the principle that counts. And if, say, you had the fob blocking off this road, you would actually be losing a shit ton of time on your unit callouts. Really, really bad. So, Achinana Kimaru. How? Okay, well, smart. Okay. Let's unpack this a little bit. So, first thing that you always want to do on the opener, you always want to use fast move. The reason you want to use fast move is that makes you take roads. In this case, that may have actually saved Gazi from the Smirch cheese, but in general, you always want to move fast, because moving there fast means that you get there fast, and getting there fast is really good. For reasons that should be obvious. If you get there first, you have the defensive advantage, and then the enemy has to attack into you. This is favorable. The only thing that I guess is in Gazi's favor right now is that it seems like his opponent is equally fucking clueless on what he actually supposed to be doing. Outside of spending half of his entire fucking starting points on helicopters that have not done anything except take shots, and a Smirch that wasted its entire salvo in the opening, he has spent the rest of those points in a city that is not really necessary to push. So yeah, it's strange. And so we have a CV buy. This is a very precarious buy, simply because the front lines have not yet been established. And the big problem here is that Gazi does not know what is happening here and what is happening here. If you look at the vision, you'll notice that while he may think like, oh, I have a bunch of units here because it is a big zone here, right? In reality, the enemy could literally just be flying the Akulas down this corridor into Bravo, and the only notification that Gazi could possibly have had of that was happening is his fucking spawn CV dying and him losing the game. This is obviously a suboptimal situation, and I apologize for the sound. It's July 3rd, and people are setting off illegal fireworks, because that is something people do in this area. Anyway, his ninja could potentially spot stuff coming down from Foxtrot, but his ninja only has two missiles, and if there's heavy sorts of helo cheese there, the ninja's not going to be able to do much. Also, mortar's a good buy. Not using the mortar, less of a good buy. So, been talking off my ass. I've been talking too much. Let's keep watching. Manpads. Yeah. Don't take manpads in general decks, folks. At least they're the Igla ends. I've seen fucking Strela 2s. Like, you want to talk about stupid shit. Okay, this is another big problem. Well, first problem is not microing your radar pieces when the enemy has a Ka-52. Ka-52 has seed missiles. It's one of the 2 helicopters in the game that has seed missiles, and it's the only seed helicopter in the game that is actually worth taking. No, the Super Cobra is a piece of shit. Don't even ask. K-263s are obviously radar, so yeah, Kula can just fucking, like, the seed Kula can just fucking kill those. And although I think it did actually die to a K-263 because base Vulcan is God. But anyway, the thing I was going to refer to is this is very, very wrong. You never, ever want to just leave a tank, particularly a super heavy tank, sitting at the edge of a forest. This is begging to die. It's potentially in range of the Conquerors. They have 2,226, 25 meter range. And that Akula is just waiting for it to pop up again. The Akula will fucking eat it for breakfast, especially since the ninja is nowhere near to being able to engage the Akula, and besides, Direct has completely infested this area with stuff, so ninja might get spotted and killed at max range from the Akula. Or at least trade with get killed by the Akula because it only has 2 HP. It hasn't been repaired. The Spag is out of position, cannot support the Kiyomaru. And yeah, this is just a very dangerous position. If the Kiyomaru gets spotted by any recon infantry, it's just going to get instantly destroyed by ATGMs, by a helicopter, by the fucking Smirch. There's a Smirch in the game. Or simply by an ATGM jet that's there to punish poorly microed super heavies. It is possible to use this technique to kind of bait out enemy ATGM plans or AT assets and then kill them with stuff, but at this level of play, that is something you should not really be worried about at the time being. Okay, so on Alpha, you have a bunch of little infiltrating units. KF-25 is really nice. He also has Spag and Recon. He has a fairly decent force. First problem, though, is that it's poorly deployed. None of these units can support each other if they get into trouble. So you open yourself up to a defeat in detail. The other problem is, A, you have nothing here. So again, something can just drive down there, kill that, and then you lose. And you don't have any idea. And you don't know how much stuff is in Alpha because at this point of the game, neither of the players have scouted each other's forces out enough to really know where everything is. Actually, Vericht might know that most of Ghazi's forces are in this little forest here, but Ghazi has no idea where his shit is. All Ghazi really knows is that he has helicopters and maybe like this fucking Smirch. And to be honest, if I had seen a fucking Smirch and an Akula combo at the beginning, I would have just started pushing really hard, smoke off my Kiyomaru, and try to just push along everywhere, see where he's weak. The enemy's weak, which is likely going to be everywhere because he spent almost 500 points fucking buying that sort of cheese. And when he has 500 points of cheese that can be relatively easily shut down, that means he has the rest of his points is going to be in ground forces. But if you have more ground forces, you can just overwhelm his stuff. And then he's fucked. So, push into Foxtrot, take this town. This town is probably the entire map, the entire strategy of Mudfight relies on this town. It is very difficult, if not impossible, to win Mudfight without control of this town. Or at the very least, neutralizing the importance of this town. Because this town basically controls 2 zones. It controls Delta and Alpha. whoever controls this town cuts off the main reinforcement line into Alpha, so you're forced to reinforce through the forest, which is really fucking slow. And if the enemy also gets reinforcements to Alpha, they'll get there first and be in defensive positions. And by the time your initial wave has gotten there, the second wave of enemy units has already gotten there, and so you're basically fucked. And you and if the and once they get here, they can just put ATGMs in here, and then they have basically locked down a lot of this stuff. So now they can start pushing up with their own tanks versus your little recon infantry that you've have hidden in these bushes, and then you're just well, you're shit out of luck, is what you are. So, continuing on. He's not doing anything with the stuff in Alpha, and maybe he just forgot about this stuff, but this is one of those situations where, oh no, this is terrible. Oh, this is a tragedy. Okay, so that's good at least. Engaging with his KFV 25s to take out that unit of Gru. But in general, yeah, that was bad. You want to use Shift Q as much as you possibly can. Oh, wow, yeah. To avoid getting caught out like that. That's really bad. Yeah, now, at this point, Godzi has lost. He just doesn't know yet. He has not done anything with his forces here. He's had a bunch of resources that he has not used this entire game. And now all that's going to happen is his flank is exposed, his opponent is taking advantage of that, and now it's really just a matter of time. These forces are overextended. They're going to get driven out by the enemy if the enemy has any clue what they're doing. Judging by the enemy's choice of units and his distribution of forces, I would wager he actually has absolutely no fucking clue what he's doing. But regardless, wow, who takes Mi-28 and Akulas? Oh my god. Oh yeah, smoke saves lives, my friend. If you had smoked out your Kuma over there, I wouldn't have died. But yeah, at this point, Varric, all he just has to do is blow you with helicopters. Nothing really else he can do. You still have this flank completely open. You have no idea what's going on. You still, even at this critical juncture, you can still have stuff just drive down here. You can have stuff flying around here. You have a Q-Maru at the edge of a forest facing what you know is going to be a bunch of attack helicopters. Yes. And he gets a CV, which is a terrible, terrible choice. Last thing you want to do when you're in a poor position like this is get a CV. The last thing you want to do. Basically, the only reason that Gazi has not yet lost is because Ferricht is also a noob and has no aggressive bone in his body because... What the fuck is this? Oh my god. That is cancer. K52, Mi-24K, Mi-2, Akula, and Mi-28s, and Mi-24 beats. Jesus. Okay, but yeah, at this point, there's really no coming back from it. Hayate's trying to push. Oh god, yeah, the Hayate's dead. Trying to push a CV into an unsecure zone. Always a mistake. Never gonna work. It's just not gonna work. It's a terrible idea because it's not gonna do anything. And so now we just have panic spam of KB25, unsupported by any AA, or any tanks, any recon, anything. So they're just going to get isolated and destroyed. And yeah, so that's the first game. Now, some people might say, well, why are you being so hard on him? He got 3,000 kills. He got more kills. Doesn't matter. This is Conquest. Yes, kill death actually does matter in Conquest. Some people are just like, oh, you just have to spam. It doesn't matter how much stuff you lose. That's not true. If you lose more units than the enemy loses, basically, if the enemy is competent, he'll translate those your lost units into basically free units for him. And if you let him get too much of an advantage like that, he's just going to blow you over because he will have, relatively proportionally speaking, more units on the field, more overall strength on the field than you do. And well, It's a bad situation to be in. Also, Peace Pheasant on a T55 AM. T55 AM is not a high value target. And I guess this is just a game knowledge thing. First of all, the T55, you shouldn't be scared of T55s, with the one possible exception of the Finnish Mati and the correlating recon tank, the Piopasiv destroyer of pronunciation. But yeah, it was not a good game for Ghazi. And really, the only reason that he had so many kills was because Ferik doesn't know how to play with helicopters and just fed incredibly expensive helicopters into Ghazi's really quite rudimentary AA net. So yeah, all I have to say about that game. Let's move on to the game with SPQR versus Operator. Alright, 1v1 Paddy Field. SPQR, starting up top, looks like he is playing Scandi. Operator is starting from the low spawn, and he is playing Russia, and immediately, I see a problem. This is the wrong helicopter, my dude. Look at that HE power. Do you see that number there? It's a number 1. This is pitiful. You always want to take the MTV, not the TV. Oh, and another thing. If you watch how Razmin or like Firestarter or Faust, I'm just gonna call them RFF at this point. They're like the big 3. Sorry, Salt or whatever. But I don't think he's going to be watching this video, so I can pretty much throw as much shade as I want. Anyway, what they usually do is they select everything, they fast move it in the general direction that they want to go, and then while the column is in motion, they start issuing units to where they actually want them to go. This way, everything can start moving along the direction they're going to take at the start anyway, without having any dead time during your opening. Because for your opener, unfortunately, this is not SD. This is one of the few Steel Division features that was actually really, really like unequivocally nice. You cannot give units orders in the deployment phase, which means that you have to do it really, really, really quickly in the opener. And if you let units sit around for too long, that can translate to the enemy getting to a position that they should not have been able to get to first. And that can translate to you losing your opener. And from that point on, it can be very tough for you. So anyway, let's look at the rest of this stuff. We have 2 Tunguska M's going towards what is presumably the middle of Gulf, and it's Charlie. This is straight up a mistake, because that is 200 points of AA for excessive AA capacity. There's really no other way to put it. Literally, just putting a Tung M, like, Bravo arguably doesn't even need a Tung M, just because the forests and stuff, line of sight can be so wonky that if you have a Tung M from this position, the edge of this forest can actually cut off line of sight to the top of this plateau here, especially if the helicopter is like low hovering. So in Bravo, stuff like Skrajets are actually going to be a lot better at dealing with helicopters at the ranges you're going to be encountering them. And for Golf, I mean, it's fine to have a Tung M for Golf, but also a bit of metagame knowledge is useful here. Like, there are no threatening Scandi helicopters. Like, none. Like, Totu Fennec is really the only decent helicopter helicopter they have, and that's not exactly worrisome. So 2 Tunguska M's, not really a wise investment. Something like, honestly, like a Tor or Buck would make more sense, because you are much more likely to see something like an early cluster bomber trying to come out and meme your opener, or like an early fighting falcon. And yeah, see, it's been 30 seconds in, and only just now a Super Heavy is moving out. That is a critical mistake. Okay, that was too ambitious. That was far too ambitious. Not only was it too ambitious to drop into a zone that was very, very clearly going to be enemy held, and thus you basically just threw away a bunch of stuff. you dispersed your units, which means that you can't really concentrate your strength. And a single MIMTV with like a single, I presume this is VDV, it's not going to be able to do too much. Unless the enemy literally has very, very little going there, in which case you could maybe get it to work, but you also don't have anything following up. This is the full extent of your push. If you had this as a initial drop to try and contest this town while you have a bunch of motorized shit driving up here, like a tank that's going to strong point and start pushing into the tip of the penis and, push him out of alpha completely, then yeah, okay, maybe that would have made sense. None of that is happening. I do not see any evidence whatsoever of this happening. Like maybe, wait. Veteran venture, please tell me those are not Spetsnaz Skrzettes. Oh gosh, please tell me those are Spetsnaz Skrzettes. But yeah, just wiped out, and yeah, oh yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about. You guys should have gotten into here at the same time. That's not what happened. Oh, you up at VDV. That is strange and arguably mistake. And now, yeah, okay, good job pulling back, but to be honest, you should just completely pull out. This is a situation where you're going to have your BU die for no reason. It's going to achieve nothing and die to everything. MI24K. And yeah, now we see like Tunguska. This is a really exposed place for Tunguska. If the enemy just tries something around here, it's gonna die. Alright, BU survived. I guess that's fortunate. Chevy 121. One thing I could say to SPQR is try and use this stuff and attack laterally into here if you can. Don't like, I know a lot of people on this map, they like think in terms of like these two lanes, but there's nothing stopping you from going this way either. It really makes you think. Gornos Shoki. Not only that, Gornos Shoki and his 2-pointer. SE-24M on a tank. Okay. Yeah, so let's unpack this. First of all, if you're going to use Gornos Shoki, you need to use them at the very beginning of the game. Because this stuff, looks really good. The problem is the regular training. You can't really use these guys as Eric's shocks because one, they're not shocks, and two, the nature of the fact that they don't have any ground transports means that you're very limited in how you can deploy them. You can't drive them up to a town and then unload directly in the town with these. You have to fly there, and if the enemy has any AA in the area, you just lost 60 points if you're taking Gornos and the MTV, or honestly even TV. And if you took them at Heinz, you lost fucking 85 points. 85 points. That's a medium tank. That's 2 VDV 90 and Skrzettes. That's a unit of GRU in B tier 90s. It's a big loss for very little gain because when a helicopter with 10 men crashes, it's a total loss. You lose everything. There's no surviving from the crash unless the helicopter has nearly landed. Then you may just get out with 2 or 3 survivors, but they're immediately stunned and panicked, and they're probably going to die anyway. This is not ideal in any circumstance. So yeah, Gornos, purely an opener unit. You fly them up, you drop, hopefully with some kind of escort, you drop them, and then you use the Metis to meme on anything that tries to push up, while your ground forces follow up. And to that extent, this should be deployed a lot farther up. And the second thing is you have a bunch of right, SE-24M on a tank. Unless it's a laser-guided bomb, bombers are not really going to do anything against tanks. Well, okay, either a laser-guided bomb or like a 20 HE bomb. A single direct hit from a 20 HE bomb is actually going to kill this because it only has 2 top armor. But 24M is not that. I believe 24M bomb HE is 12 or 13. Like, decent, but you're not going to kill an STRV 103D with the 24M. It's just not going to happen. Not how this game works. And really didn't accomplish anything with that. Put your 24M at extremely high risk for essentially no realistic gain. So that was not a bombing strike you should have taken. It would have made more sense to bomb this, or to bomb this, or to bomb this. Or honestly, not even buy a bomber, because at this point in the game, you have so little material on the field that a bomber is the last thing you need. And again, bringing up the Goskas, I like that you turned the gun off, but yeah, I haven't shot a single thing, except for the Scout Defender, which doesn't really count. 200 points, ladies and gentlemen. That could have been another Super Heavy, plus a BRDM3. Yeah. Presumably grew. They have my 24D. And my 24K going balls deep. Got away with it, just because exceptional optics, but risky. Big problem here. VDV90, first of all, they are really pumped up. Second of all, they don't have any support. Yes, VDV90 have really, really good, really good launchers, but all he has to do. Ooh, wow, M24D actually got the automatic. That's a nice meme. But yeah, if SPQR just move that STRV up a little bit, just be able to meme on those VDV all day. Bakan 1C, okay, that's another way he can just meme on them all day. That makes, yeah. Nice Panzer build, missing all 7 of the shots. T64A, now that is a unit I have not seen in a very long time. Mainly because T80 is better. And MTV, going supported, automatic. Nice surprise there. Oh, okay. Yeah, Eric's one shots T64As. Yeah, not good engagement. Oh, good sequencing there. Alright, so that's a decent use of Garnish-Jockey, yeah. Garnish-Jockey are basically made to live in little town sectors. They perform very poorly anywhere else. But yeah, big problem is you've basically given up a bunch of this ground for free, and you have not secured this side from a push. Really, the only thing that's preventing SPQR from cutting off your entire forces up here and pushing into your 2-pointer and your spawn is the fact that he's thinking too linearly. He also forgot his stuff back here, which are not really going to do much of anything, really. He's also resting on his laurels a bit, which is strange. He has a lot of units here. You have the stuff to match it, but perhaps, well, you have the units on the ground to match it, but perhaps not this attention you might need. Which means that SPQR might be able to just overwhelm you in terms of micro. Oh, unsupported VDV. This is bad. You just threw away 50 points for nothing. Not supported by the BU, not supported by, you know, there was no 27M or thing up the ground. Basically just gifted him 53 points of a infantry squad that you really cannot afford to lose like that. Oh yeah, automatics, yeah. Really bad for you there. Yeah, now we see the Bakan just doing a number of you, basically forcing you away from the very tip. And honestly, SPQR should really just start like making a line of IFVs here and then just like walking infantry down this way. Because like, yes, it's open space, yeah, but you have nothing to really contest that. And at this point, he should realize that. Like, he has no ATGMs, you only ever like seen light tanks. And if you just like strong point with like heavier stuff, yeah, just get into the basically the very tip and just start pushing through the shaft. Especially if the fire support vehicles start following along this way, they can very easily start shooting at the side of the shaft. Especially if they also have stuff going down this way. At that point, like if you have IFVs here and IFVs here, you can shoot all into the shaft, and anything in here is dead. Literally everything in here is dead. Okay, and the big elephant in the room. Why the fuck did you count the 1-pointer before the 2-pointer? Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, but anyway, there was eventually GG is going to be called in a couple seconds. So yeah. All right. Okay. So, ooh, got a little salty there at the end. So apologies. I guess that's just my natural state. To be fair, in my defense, I did warn you. Like my nickname is Turnek Salty Asshole, so shouldn't really be surprised. But yeah, thank you for watching this initial test cast. This has been Turnik, Bootcamp Admin Extraordinaire, signing off.